Today we're taking a look at the American Barbell Grizzly Power Bar. Now this is their brand new entry-level power bar that's designed to compete directly against the Buddy Cap's Texas Power Bar and the Rogue Fitness Ohio Power Bar. It comes in at $250, which falls right in line with those other power bars. A lot of the features of this barbell are the same kind of prominent features that you'll find in other power bars, except the main difference with this is that you get a much nicer finish than you would from any other barbell in the $250 range. Now, starting with the build quality construction of this bar, I gave it a 6 out of 6 because, like other American Barbell power bars or barbells in general, the Grizzly Power Bar is finished amazingly. The tolerances are excellent in this barbell. The shaft is 190K PSI tensile strength. The shaft diameter is 29 millimeters. It has a light but fine depth knurling, single powerlifting mark. It's got center knurling, and it's finished with hard chrome on the shaft and on the sleeve. So it's got a lot of things going for it. The build quality, and it has composite bushings as well. The overall construction and build quality of this barbell is excellent. When you drop it, it's very, very quiet. There's no rattles from it. The sleeves rotate very, very smoothly, and which could be a good or bad thing depending on how you want to look at it. But overall, the build quality of this barbell, like other American Barbell bars, is absolutely on point. When it comes to the knurling, even though this is a very subjective thing, I give this barbell a 6 out of 6. Personally, I really like the knurling on the Grizzly Power Bar. It's the same pattern that you'll find on pretty much all of American Barbell's bars. It's a very fine depth knurling that has a lot more cross hatches per square inch, I guess, than any other manufacturer out there. It's not a shark tooth depth knurling. It does not tear your hands up. It still provides excellent grip, but if you liked the Buddy Cap's knurling or the Ohio Power Bar knurling and you like to get your hands all messed up during training, then you might not like the knurling on this barbell because it is light. But if you value the conditions of your hands after you're done training, then you will definitely appreciate the knurling on the Grizzly bar. It still provides excellent grip without messing up your hands. When it comes to the spin of this barbell, I gave it a 4 out of 6. Now this is going to be opposite from a Oli bar or a mixed use barbell. You actually want a slower spin from the power bars because you don't want it rotating too much when you're pressing with it. The composite bushings on this barbell do rotate a little bit more than I'd like for a power bar. Eventually, hopefully they'll dry up and they won't rotate as much, but I noticed it when I was pressing 225 that my wrist felt a little bit unstable. If you are not at that weight and you're a lighter weight lifter, then you probably won't have any issues with that because you're probably not going to be putting up any weights that it's really going to affect your lifts. Or if you are a heavier lifter, then you probably won't have any issues with that because you'll probably have enough weight on there to pin down the sleeves. For a moderate lifter, it's a little bit too much spin for me. For whip or stiffness, I give this barbell a 5 out of 6 because at medium loads where I'm squatting, which is usually in the 300 to 400 pound range, there is a little bit of flex to the barbell. That's at a static stop. When you're moving with it, or at least the speed that I'm moving the barbell, it doesn't bounce around on your back at all. But it's worth noting that there will be a slight bend in it. The Ohio Power Bar is a little bit more stiff than this one is, but it's negligible when you're actually moving with it. Now that little bit of whip actually helps in deadlifting. This is probably one of the better deadlifting 29 millimeter power bars. Usually you want a more whippy bar when you do your deadlifts. This one breaks off the ground a little bit easier than, say, the Rogue Ohio Power Bar. It's negligible. The difference is really slight. Most people won't notice it, and you really won't notice it until you're around the 500 pound mark, which is where usually I'm about at. But as an all-around power bar for squats, presses, and deadlifts, I think the whip on this barbell handles all of those movements really, really well, and it's probably the best suited barbell for all of the movements in the powerlifting spectrum, or the big three, or whatever you want to call it. Now, if you're a competitive powerlifter, this probably won't be the best barbell for you. This is, once again, an entry-level powerlifting barbell. It does have that slight bit of flex, and if you're putting up weights higher than like 500 pounds on your back squats, then it might be a little bit too dynamic for you. Once again, for the press, it might be a little bit too dynamic for you as well, or it might spin a little bit too much. And for a deadlift, obviously it's got a 29 millimeter diameter handle, and that's not going to be that great for deadlifting as well. But if you're looking for something to handle all the movements and you're not putting up that much weight, and you're just like an intermediate powerlifter, then the Grizzly Power Bar is going to be for you. So when it comes to value, I give this barbell a 6 out of 6. In my opinion, I think that this is the best entry-level powerlifting bar. For $250, it's an absolute bargain. I personally like it more than the Texas Power Bar, which I honestly was not a huge fan of. I didn't think it was very nice at all, even though it does get the job done. And the Rogue Fitness Ohio Power Bar, which is also another favorite of mine, but really does a number on your hands, and you can't use it for pretty much anything other than pressing and squatting. Whereas the Grizzly Power Bar, I find it is probably the most well-rounded of all the power bars, because you can press very well with it, you can squat very well with it, and you can also deadlift very well and not mess your hands up, so that you can do training for days and days to come. The overall score for the Grizzly Power Bar is going to be 27 out of 30 points, and it's going to get my highly recommended rating. Now, if you wanted a squat bar, go get a squat bar. If you wanted a deadlift bar, go get a deadlift bar. If you wanted a pressing bar, go get a pressing bar. But I think that the Grizzly Bar does everything really, really well. And like I said, I highly recommend it. If you guys have any questions about the Grizzly Power Bar, feel free to leave them in the comment section. And as always, guys, please hit that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.